Astrologymojo.com. There it is. Okay, so here we are. We're back. Happy days, last day of November. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here. I'm choking on dust. I had to gather all my crystals. They're all over my desk. Some of them I haven't dusted because they live outside. So Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. We're going to help you get your mojo back by looking at crystal. How can you utilize the power of crystals to heal? My computer's doing some funky things, so I'm just going to ignore it. So I tried to get online the other day with Cheyenne Hall Burnett to do an interview, and that didn't work. Okay, but this will work. I can feel it in my bones. We are going to be talking about the 7 basic, there's more than 7, but the 7 basic classifications and classes of crystals and their uses. Hi, Leah. Hi, Mary. So we're going to start very simply by talking about the Mohs scale, M-O-H-S. A Mohs scale. Now, you may be familiar with crystals and stones and gems. You may not, and that's fine. This is just a very basic cursory knowledge. I can do more in the future. In fact, if people are very interested, I might do a class on it. But the Mohs scale is a standard by which we measure the hardness of a stone. Now, a diamond is at the top of the list. A diamond is a 10. So anything between a 6 and a 10 is a pretty tough stone. Anything less than a 6 is more fragile. So things like halite, which I don't have, lesson number 1, don't put your crystals in water, okay? Especially if they're sodium-based. I melted my halite stone to a little puddle. So that was a lesson. I've been working with crystals for over 40, 50 years. I'm 58. And I've been collecting stones since I was a kid. I'd put them in a box under my bed, and my mother would say, "Get those stones out of here. What are you doing with the rocks in the house?" Well, if you could see my desk, wait, maybe, can you? I don't know. Let's see. Can you see? No, I can't tilt it that far. But I have rocks everywhere. We're going to cover them. So let's talk about the Mohs scale. The harder the stone, the easier it is to actually use daily. That means to carry it with you, to have, let's say, a necklace. My daughter wraps jewelry, and she made this stone for me. This is chrysocolla. And we're going to talk about the colors of stones and the groupings in their classes. And the Mohs scale as well. Now, the basic stone that you might know about, it's called a crystal, right? Here's one. Now, it looks a little yellow on the screen, but it's actually clear. It's the lighting, I think. But so I have many quartz crystals. This is quartz. And there are different types of quartz crystals. There are points, like this one, comes to a point. And they are grown in nature like this. Some are polished to look like this. Little stones that are soft and round, and you can rub them like a worry stone. So that would be a polished stone. And these stones are pretty. They're very pretty, number 1, but they're also very profound in that they grow in clusters. And when they're broken, they are sold as points. Now, they're all, to my experience, I used to sell crystals and work with them and do classes on chakras and crystals way back in New Jersey, lifetimes ago. And what I find fascinating is that each one is completely different. I can hold one and meditate with it or sleep with it. Yes, I would recommend certain stones you will be sleeping with, but stick around because some stones you do not want to be sleeping with. So I will hold this and I will sense what it is for me and how it feels to me. And then I'll hold a different stone and I'll get a completely different feeling. Now, if I walk into a crystal store here in Sedona, I don't spend more than 10 minutes because I get overwhelmed, I will get nauseous, and I get so spacey. But then what I've learned is that, little tips before we get into the classes, if you use a This is called a hematite. It's a mineral. If you have a hematite bracelet, or I have a hematite ring, I wear it like, the Lord of the Rings ring. It's like I will go into a large group when I travel. I will carry this because it literally helps to ground me and puts a barrier between me and energy, whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. So I carry this with me when I go to workshops or I do any kind of large groups, or if I know I'm going to be, networking or milling around, or go to a crystal store, I carry hematite with me. Now I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see. It's very, it's like a gray silver color. It's really beautiful and it's very grounding. We're going to talk about that in a second. So when you get to know the stones, what's really important is that you care for them as you would an elder, a teacher, a healer. And these are true experiences, but and study them online, read different sites, but contrast and compare. And ultimately you want to have your own experience, because when a person starts to, like when I'm wearing this, I immediately felt calmer. Now I have a stone that I bought, fun little story. I bought this, is a rare piece of sugilite. I don't know if you can see that. And it has a cloudy image. It looks like the sky. And it's a point. And it was a necklace. And I bought it in New York when I was beginning to do all of my crystal work and spiritual work. And a few days later, it was wrapped in silver. A few days later, it busted. Literally, the silver broke open and the stone fell. So I picked it up and I thought, oh gosh, I have to take it back to the store. So I went back into New York that weekend, and I went to the crystal store, which is no longer there. And this was maybe 30, 40, I don't know. It was a long time ago. And so they said, oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's redo it. So they had it done professionally, and there was a thick silver bar around the top. And they called me in. I took it home. I wore it. 3 days later, boom, it cracked right open. The stone fell down. So I picked this stone up and I said, what do you need? What is it? You don't want to be constrained. That was my feeling. You don't want to be constrained. You want me in your life, but you don't want me to wear you? I don't understand. So I would do little experiments with different types of stones. Like here's a little crystal point. And you can see because it has the point on top, right? Quartz crystal. And I would take stones and put them on my body and lie down and rest and see what I felt. Well, this little guy, I would literally put, okay, I know this seems kind of strange. I would literally put this one on my head and I would lie down and then I would sit up. And then it wouldn't leave my body. And I can walk around. My husband will laugh at me once in a while. I'll meditate with the stone. Look at me. I look like a wreck. I look like a crazy person. There are cat people in the world. Well, I'm a stone person. I've got rocks everywhere. I'm a rock lady. So I can walk around with this on my forehead and it will never fall off. So that's where it wanted to be. And it's kind of funky, right? So you have to, okay, now I need to readjust for the camera. Why do I have different colors? I have a lighting kit on. I don't get it. Okay. So let's talk about, and then I want you to tell me what kind of crystals you have or what your interests are in crystals or how you're looking to utilize crystals. And we're going to talk from the top down. So the clear crystals. The clear crystals are the quartz crystals, and there's many different types. As I said, there's also little clusters. You can see the clusters. They come with tiny little points everywhere. Then there are infused crystals with different elements. Like this one also has yellow citrine in it. And a clear quartz crystal basically is meant for clarity. We're going to be looking at the 7 different classes of crystals. And we'll start with the clearing crystals. What's a clearing crystal and how can you use it? Well, again, remember, I want you to be able to use crystals in a way that's comfortable for you and not just, I mean, yeah, if you want to just have them because they're pretty, but if you're really looking to use them, use one at a time. Give it a couple of tries. Sleep with them, literally. I would sleep with every crystal that I ever bought, and I would have dreams like you could not imagine. I would have experiences, and we'll get to that, of the crystals that you ought not sleep with. All right. So now a clearing, healing crystal is usually a quartz crystal. That's where we start because of its clarity. Now, different types of quartz crystals, as I said, in fact, I'll show you the first one I ever bought for myself. Look at that. That's my master teacher, healer, and friend. Now, you see how pretty clear it is on the inside? That crystal, when I first bought it about 40 years ago, I was around 18 or 19, and it used to be cloudy, and I worked with it. Yes, this used to be cloudy, so they do change their shape, and they transform. Okay, so this was my first crystal, and it is a point. Now, there are different, which I think I would do in another class or talk, but there are generator crystals, there are teacher crystals, there are communicator crystals, because they will tell you by the amount of sides that they have and how the point is shaped. Anyway, basic crystal, right? So what I would do is, if you are typically right-handed, so you want to be receiving on your left side. It works the other way around. If you are typically left-handed, you want to receive on your right side, but then mix it up and then experiment, right? You want to see what it does. So I would take the point of the crystal and put it in my palm, so it's facing upward toward my body on my feminine side. And that's what I would do. And I just hold it. Now, it's really important too that when you bond with a crystal, you want to imprint your energy on it. And so if you go to a crystal store, or you go to a gem and mineral show, which I've been to all my life, I go all the time. In fact, the next one is in February in Tucson. It's the big one, and it travels around the country. So you could also go to Rocks. Wait, I wrote it down for you. rockandmineralshows.com, and it will tell you where the crystal, rock and lapidary jewelry, high-end crystal necklaces or rings and earrings and such, or just raw crystals, are being sold around the country in the United States. And February 14th, I believe, it's the big one in Tucson that I go to every year, and I always get something. And one year, in fact, I bought 2 Madagascar crystal geodes, and they cracked them for me right there. And so I had one big one, and it was cracked in half. And when I opened it, I saw my friend, Annie. So I said, I'm going to keep one and send one to her. And then I bought another one, cracked it open. I said, oh my gosh, this looks like my husband. That's what the vibe I got. So I have the halves so that every time I see these halves of crystals, I think of Annie and my husband. Hold on, let me show you. It's at the other end of my desk. There was no room on my desk. Okay, so this is a Madagascar crystal. I'm starting to get drunk. Okay, it's very pretty, very sparkly. And I keep it on my desk. Now, keep in mind that a single point of a quartz crystal like this is great for directing flow. Now, there are different types. As I said earlier, there's different types of quartz crystals and points. And some you can see have a flatter side, and they have perhaps... it looks like rainbows on the inside, or inclusions, rutilations, or lines. And then some have rainbows, and they have phantom pyramids on the inside. Again, those have different meanings. So, but just in general, great healing, clarifying, and transformative crystals would be malachite, clear crystals, malachite, which is a green crystal, and some of these are interchangeable. You can move to different categories of the classes, but malachite And I'm looking around my desk. I think I gave my malachite away. Okay, it's a green crystal, a mineral actually. Selenite is also great for transforming, and it looks like quartz crystal, but they come in square and rectangular shapes and very flat and smooth. Flat and smooth on the top. So that's a selenite. And also labradorite is great for transforming. Now you can get a labradorite a crystal ball or a flat piece. And it comes from the Isle of Labrador. And the labradorite is really cool because it catches rainbows. It has mica on the inside, and you can see the little rainbows reflected. So it has dimension to it, which is really cool. So labradorite is also a spiritual stone, but it's great for clearing. And if you're undergoing transformation, this is a fun stone to also sleep with because it can help bring your dreams forward and help you to understand well, if you were to see, I wish I had a flashlight on me, but if you were to see the actual rainbow classifications on the inside. Oh, there we go. There, you see that? Okay, wow, that's what I'm talking about. That brings your dreams into the forefront. So when you sleep with a labradorite, it can bring that elusive feeling or those images that are not very clear into a very grounded place and help you to transform. That's labradorite. It's a beautiful stone, and it's pretty strong on the Mohs scale. I believe it's a 5 or a 6. And also dendrite is great for transformation and healing because it's a very grounding root chakra stone. Let me find my dendrite. It comes in all shapes and sizes, but basically it can be clear. Basically, dendrite has different images. Now, I want to take this where it's not too out of focus, but it could be clear or white like mine is. And they look like trees. They look like people. I mean, really, the whole purpose of dendrite, this is great to have when you are looking to ground through a big transition in your life, because I keep this on my desk and I look at it every time I think of the books that I'm going to be writing. I see images in these. And so what it does basically is it gives you the power. It doesn't give you the power, actually. It helps you to ground your power of focus and concentration, because you will look at this and see, oh, now I see a person. Wait, what is that? That looks like a wolf. Oh my gosh, there's a path. There's the woods. And you just keep going. And every time you concentrate on it, you see something different. So it's very powerful stone for grounding. It's called dendrite. Good to have. Now, Leah says, you're sensitive to people's energy, then get some hematite. Hematite is great to have in any form. I have another one here somewhere. Hang on. There it is. This is a larger one I call my lady because it looks like a lady, like a Madonna. Hematite. Looks like a future, like alien kind of stone. So if you carry a little hematite in the form of jewelry or just a rock in your pocket, that will help you ward off people's energies. It's very profound in its experience, let me tell you, because I don't always go out because of that reason. I overwhelm. When I travel, I absorb everybody. And then there's motion. And then there's sounds. And then there's the plane. And then there's the altitude and the compression. And believe me, when I tell you, I need a doctor and if I drank, I would say a stiff drink at the end of the journey. But it's, I'll wear a lot of this stuff or bring it and it helps to mitigate. So Megan says, I'd love to go to a gem show. Well, in the South, there are just not anything like, yes, there are. There are rockandmineralshows.com, and you will see there's a lot in Florida. I'm not sure what part of the South. There's Texas. I mean, they're all around the country. You just may not know about them. Okay. So, that basically is the clearing and the healing stones, the crystals. Oh, also druzy. And it's like an onomatopoeia. Druzy is like what it sounds. It's like, oh, I feel so druzy today. And druzy comes in different forms and different colors, but basically it's a stone that it's kind of bumpy but soft. And at the same time, it's like out of focus. When you look at it, you just start to relax a little bit. And this one is the color blue. There are some very vibrant tints of druzy, but I like this one because it's very soft. And my daughter and I will share stones, and again, she wraps them. And sometimes I'll go into her room and I'll swap out stones for her, and I'll take some. So druzy is great also to go through that healing phase. Okay, so let me move. Oopsie. Oh, there's actually two I want to talk about. There is something in the quartz world called it's a phantom quartz. And inside, this is a little point. Let me hold it up like this. This is a little point, okay? And inside, there's iron ore, plus it has an image on the inside. If you were to look at it up close, I don't have a bigger one. But it has imagery on the inside. And the phantom stones, they usually come in a red to an orange tint. And these are great for physical healing as well in your transformation. If you're undergoing any kind of illness, it's great to have these phantom crystals with you because they help you to purge, literally. And I've used these when I've had fevers or head colds. And again, I will sleep with them. And sometimes you can sleep with a rock in your hand, but you lose it in the middle of the night, it winds up. So I would put it in a little soft pouch and put it under my pillow, and making sure that there was a pillow behind me so that nothing would fall off the bed. Because when I've slept with stones, I have gotten the most amazing experiences, as I said earlier. So that's the quartz world. And my last quartz I want to show you, okay, this I use in groups to generate. It's called a generator crystal. And because it has a particular matrix and the point is exactly in the center, and there's a certain amount of energy that goes through the bottom and up through the top. And I do world healing with this particular generator crystal that I got in New Jersey at a Gem and Mineral show. I don't know, 100,000 years ago. And when this was formed, and it was so fantastic. So I haven't even looked in the comments section. Who's here with me today? Take a little break. Annie is here. Hey, hi. There's your Madagascar rock. There it is. I have the other half. I think of you when I see it. And then there's Leah and Megan and a bunch of shows. Absolutely. North Carolina. Okay, so next we have the heart harmonizing. Now, if you think of chakras, I want you to think of the colors if you are familiar with chakras. The heart is green and pink. So when you see a green or a pink stone, it can mostly apply to heart transformation, healing, letting go of old loves or emotions that have harmed you or that you just didn't know how to let go of. And so there are certain things that amplify and certain things that diminish. So let's look at those. Okay, now I don't have a small one. My father, many years ago, was right on board the crystal thing. This is very heavy. He bought me bookends, and they sit outside our front door. This is a rose quartz. Okay, and it's been cut and polished on this side and this side, but the back is it's just natural formation. And a rose quartz is wonderful for healing. And what we do is we keep these bookends right out. Oh my gosh, that's heavy. That's an exercise. We keep the bookends right outside the front door and we also have other long rose quartz further down on the path to the front door so that any person who walks up is moving energy toward the house with rose quartz, with love, and bringing love toward the house. And I've worked with smaller pieces, and it has the same effect in days or moments when I've felt adrift or really sad or heartache, heart loss, just that emotional feeling of I want to give up. I would take a little rose quartz, and my daughter has a polished one. I don't have it with me, but it's about this big and it's very pretty. And the polished ones feel good because you can play with them in your hand, any kind of stone. You can play with them. And they really have a calming effect, not just the act of, rubbing the stone, but also the properties, because these are everything on my desk. And let me show you a photograph. These are most of the stones I have in my house. I clean them in only ever full moon, new moon, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, the sun. That's it. Never in water, never in salt water, because you can destroy the actual property and diminish. So this is a picture of a lot of the crystals that I had that I put out during the last solar eclipse. And there's everything we're talking. So all that stuff is on my desk right now. And I've grouped them in different areas so that you can benefit from what I'm about to say. Okay, so next, the heart harmonizing, the green and the pink stones. Okay, so what we have, tourmaline is really great. Pink and green tourmaline. Now, this is a natural formation. It's a geode. It's a rock cluster, and it's just been chipped off the mountain, wherever it came from. And there is the pink tourmaline, right? I'm going the wrong way. Pink tourmaline, and it's backwards for me. And then there's the green tourmaline, pink and green tourmaline. Sometimes it's called watermelon tourmaline. And these two are great for a physical healing, for strengthening the resolve that you have in letting go of something or someone, or getting through an emotional time. Also, the rose quartz we talked about. Okay, selenite. Selenite is great for healing, especially when you bring new crystals into the house and you want to get a grip on. First, you want to clean your new crystals by putting them out in the sun or a full moon, a new moon, a solar or a lunar eclipse, and let them sit for 2 days and let them charge. And then when you hold the new crystal in your hand, you can do it with a selenite as well. You bond with the crystal to your energy and you activate its properties so that it might have selenium, which is great for the thyroid, or it might have copper, which helps to, if you have too much copper, your potassium levels are off, so there's a whole medical thing behind crystals as well. But we're going to just stick simply with, this is selenite, and it's a very pretty crystal that is flat. Looks like quartz, but it's not. But it's also great for transforming. It's a very calming sense that you get when you hold it, and then you'll see what you get when you hold it. Okay, so now selenite working together with malachite. Now, I don't have a full malachite here. It's a green stone, as I said earlier, but this is azurite malachite. And azurite malachite, sometimes they grow and they form together. It's a blue stone. It has some green malachite on it. And what happens is when you combine selenium with an azurite malachite, let's say you're doing a meditation, you have heartache, you want to let go of someone or an old job, or you're really experiencing some kind of sorrow and you just need to let it go so you can get back to the business of being you and get your mojo back, you would have a selenite and a malachite together, and literally it would bring up the emotion because it will amplify what you've been holding so you can purge it and let it go. And that's not it's not a quiet thing. It is very intense. So higher communications is another class, and that's where higher communication comes from the throat chakra. And when you want to express something that is your truth, is helping you and others to heal or to bring awareness to a group. So the blues, again, this is lapis lazuli, one form of lapis lazuli, which can do that. And aquamarine, let's see, I have a little nope, where'd it go? Oh, there they are. Okay, so I combine aquamarine with my citrine. And even though citrine's not so much about the higher communication, it is energizing. It's an energizing stone. Here is one form of citrine. This is a point. They're pretty much yellow or orange. And citrine is great for perking you up. Let's say you're a little sleepy. You don't know how to, get going. You have one of these and you just meditate for 3 minutes with this in your hand. If it's a point, have the point facing in toward your body. Now, this is another form of citrine. I'm kind of jumping classes, but is another form of citrine. It's a cluster, and it's very pretty. It's darker in nature. It's richer. And so I combined the aquamarine, which is a beryl. This is more light blue than it's showing on the screen. So I don't have anything white to back it up with. But anyway, this is a very pale blue color. And I've got 3 of these stones, and I put them on top of my citrine. And it's really a great combination to have when you want to open up your higher communication, but be grounded in your intention at the same time. So that's one form of using aquamarine. Now, aquamarine and emerald come from the same family. And emerald is also part of a heart harmonizing. This is an emerald, believe it or not. That's an emerald I got for $5 at a gem and mineral show. Now, if I were to whittle this down and polish it, I think the underneath would be the greenest part. Then I could make jewelry out of it and make a gemstone. So, and they come in little rocks too. So using emerald is also great for heart harmonizing and then higher communication, because once you're grounded in your intention, you can hold on to the power. What is the power of an emerald? An emerald and aquamarine are both considered the beryl family on the Mohs scale. They're pretty strong stone, 6 or 7, which makes it hard, and very stable. So a stable stone is helping you to get grounded in what you believe and to find your richness, what you really value, where you can activate your inner power. All right, now Leah asks, what if one breaks? What if a stone breaks? What's the best thing to do? Well, let me tell you a story about that. The best thing to do is to decide, first of all, what kind of stone it is. And when I get to talking about protection stones, I'll tell you that story because I don't want to jump ahead too far. So as we are on higher communication and talking about chrysocolla, celestite is also, here's celestite. It's a light blue stone, little cluster of celestite. I don't know if you could see that. It's very pretty. It's actually very light blue, and you can get them in all sizes. That is also heart harmonizing. And the kyanite, don't have it with me. Azurite malachite, this combo deal. Azurite malachite. We've got chrysocolla. Let me see. I'm looking at my list. I don't want to. Moldavite. Okay, moldavite is a green stone that you can get that is kind of like this shape, but a green. And when I first experienced moldavite, it is considered a space stone. So I had a couple of these small little stones, and I was working at a newspaper in New Jersey, and I put them in my pocket. And I was doing my job, and it was a night job, so I was off by midnight. So right around 11 o'clock is when things would speed up because you'd have to make the deadlines. All the editors would come down. We'd have to edit, do the layout, etc. So it was a very busy time. Well, I had forgotten I had moldavite in my pocket. And, the 2 bosses are calling out, okay, we got 20 minutes. We got to do this. And people are running around and cutting up type and paper and pasting things. And it was pretty exciting. Well, next thing I know, I felt like I had superhuman strength, and a lamp fell over at the same time I was walking one way, and I had paper in my hand, and I grabbed the lamp, put it back, turned around, handed off the paper, did something else. It was like I could spin in different times And there were a couple of coworkers, and they looked at me and said, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?" Because I was so far away from the lamp for me to reach out to it, it looked like I would have to be inches away, but it wasn't. And so that was Moldavite. Wow. The power that I felt, it just activated the higher communication because I was thinking in my head, this is what I have to get done. So it was inner communication, not just talking, right? So think about that as well. Now, chrysocolla, which I'm wearing, that Aaliyah made, and also this, it's a very pretty greenish blue stone, chrysocolla. That's great for higher communication as well. And any kind of blue or green agate will get you there. And then moving on to energizing stones. Now, the rubies and the garnets I gave away as gifts, but they are energizing because if you look at red, yellow, and orange, it's going to give you energy that is latent within you. So if you, let's say you're anemic, or let's say you have a low iron, even if you're not anemic and you have a low iron levels, and you're kind of fatigued, you pick up a citrine or garnet. You can get a garnet necklace, citrine, garnet, ruby, Herkimer diamond. Oh my gosh. Okay. They come from upstate New York and other places in the world, but there's a mine in upstate New York, a Herkimer mine. Again, I had a little stone that was maybe this big, a Herkimer diamond. That was it. And I put it in my pocket. I was like the character in Over the Hedge, the squirrel, I think he is, who ate coffee beans. I could go so fast. I kid you not. I could move so fast. So I want you to be aware of, don't discard or discount the fact that if you have a stone and you're going throughout your day and you're doing your thing and you're like, I don't know why I have so much energy. Well, look at what you're wearing. Look at your intention. So a garnet, a ruby, citrine, any red or orange stone is really great for perking you up. So you want to work with that as well easily. Now, the grounding and the protection stones. So these are the ones I do not sleep with. And here's why. This is obsidian. And smoky quartz. This is smoky quartz. And it's a lot lighter than what you're seeing because you could see through it in the light there, and there's no light behind me to shine it. But actually, let's see if I can get my phone to light up and show you what this looks like. Nope, not going to do it. I'm going to try by putting it on a flashlight. Well, anyway, smoky quartz is a grounding stone. And when I bought that sphere a long time ago, I would sleep with every stone I got to see what did I get from it? And what is it going to do for me? And what can I do with it? And how do I bond with it? And what's the messages coming from the stone? And when I slept with this stone, I had a dream that I was falling from the sky. And there was a big outcropping of like a cliff. And from it was a tree. And I grabbed the tree. And then below me, it felt like a man's hand. And it grabbed my leg. And it was very Lord of the Rings-ish, way before that movie ever came out. And it was obsidian. And he was speaking to me. And it was smoky quartz. I keep confusing the two. But anyway, so it was smoky quartz. Oh, there, you see? Now we go. It's brown and it has rutilations throughout, all these little lines. Okay, that is smoky quartz, yes. And what he said to me was, if you want me to ground you, I will, but I cannot let you go. And I woke up like startled. Okay, so I realized I can never sleep with this. But it's good for grounding and protection. And sometimes the protection is from us, from our own thoughts and feelings. And sometimes the protection is an energy from the outside world. And sometimes the protection is positive things where it's just too much input. So I have become friends with my smoky quartz. And let me show you now how. When Mom passed away, I inherited my mother's smoky quartz pin. So when I also go out into a group or a crowd, I will wear this so that I am grounded and protected. So it's a really great stone to have for that. Now, schorl, also called black tourmaline, is kind of chunky. It's a rock. It's got striations on the outside. And this is a tough stone. Now, getting back to Leah's a question about what happens if a stone breaks. Well, I had a friend long ago who, very intense energy, always moving, had a lot to heal from her past. I gave her a stone. And a few weeks later, she came back to me and said it crumbled. It just like disintegrated in her pocket. It absorbed so much negativity. So I said, I want you to take these stones and bury them in the backyard during a full moon. And she did. And she left them there from the onset of the full moon, the day before, the day of, the day after. She left them there. Then she dug them up and then she put them back in her pocket. So if you can recharge a stone and feel that and get that sense that, oh yeah, you're still good. If not, if they've done their job and you need to retire them and bless them and release them, then you bury them. And they will regrow. They will recharge. The earth is always taking our stuff, always taking our stuff. So you can see the earth recycling the energy of a stone that breaks. Now, I have fluorite. This is, let me get back to obsidian. Okay. Now, there's snowflake obsidian. There's regular black obsidian. Snowflake has little white specks in it. This is obsidian. Okay. Also a protective stone. And it helps you to ground in a way and keep negativity away from you. And it also brings up your negativity so that you can let go of it. So if you have one of these obsidian stones or snowflake obsidian and you carry this with you, realize that your judgments will arise and it will help you to heal your judgments. All right. Now the other, let's see, what else do we have? Picture Jasper. I want you to picture this. Jasper. Jasper's a friend of mine. This is called Picture Jasper. Also a protective stone, but for a different purpose. This comes from Australia, and literally when it helps you to focus and actualize your goals. So for 3 years, we lived in a house where the living room was off-white. That was it. Oatmeal carpet, white wall, like off-white walls, and that was it. We didn't know what to do. So I looked at things online. I watched, all the design kind of shows. And then I went to a gem and mineral show and I saw this and I said, that's my living room right there. So it's got a cream color, it's got burgundy, it's got salmon. And so we literally designed our living room and kitchen and dining room after this stone. So this is a lighter weight energy to actualize your goals with. Does that make sense? Like the obsidians and the hematite is also protective, right? That's pretty intense and dark. And then there's the schorl. This is like mega Avenger, don't mess with me stone. And it will crack. Once it's done its job, it'll disintegrate. So Leah says, you named all the reasons I'd love to gift these to my family for thyroid, and my sis has low iron. What's the best for comfort for a friend feeling depressed? It depends on who she is and what's going on, but rose quartz is always a lovely stone to give for someone who's not feeling so great. And then we get to the dreams and the sleep. Okay, this is lepidolite. I love this stone, and here's why. It is a mineral, and it contains lithium. And so you get a little piece of this. It's mica, so it's very low on the Mohs scale, like a 3 or a 4. So if you drop it, it will crack, and it will break and crumble. And so I sleep with this next to my bed, and it's like a lavender purpley color. It's really pretty. They come in smaller pieces. You can put in a pouch and sleep under your pillow. It's got lithium, so it helps to calm you. And also the druzy is very calming. druzy stone, very calming. And there's so many stones I haven't even covered, and some I haven't even met yet. And I consider them people. So this one came to our attention a few years ago. It's called Larimar. It is a great sleeping stone. There's only one place you can get it, and that is in the Caribbean. Now, I don't know if you could see that. That looks orange, but it's pale blue. It looks like the sea. If you look at it closely, it's got soft edges, and it's got different pale blue, different ocean colors of the Caribbean. And so you can sleep with that or next to your bed. It's also very calming. Amethyst, one of my favorite ones to sleep with. Okay, amethyst, you see the rainbow in that one? This has a rainbow, and you can get a little point, like a little amethyst point that looks like this, but purple. Like that. And you can sleep with that, and it's great for dreams. It's great for addiction. If you want to stop drinking, doing drugs, smoking, you walk around with this in your pocket, and it will really help you, or around your neck. Amethyst is really helpful in reducing the cravings that a person has, because it brings you in tune with your spiritual alignment. And there's also different types of amethyst. Now, amethyst is not a stone to put in the water or in the sun. Please make note of this. Amethyst contains water crystals. And so the more you put amethyst in the sun, you can do it for an hour or two just to charge it once a year. But if you left this outside, it would turn pale, because then all the water would evaporate and it would take the color with it. So you don't want to put amethyst in the water or in the sun. Okay. Now, so moonstones, also good for sleep. Moonstones. This is a little one I got. It's so tiny, but it's got little rainbows in it. Moonstone is very soft, and it helps to calm you and helps to bring up the dreams. And spirituality, again, labradorite raises your level of awareness. And there's a stone that, see, that's labradorite. I have a bunch of these around the house. And when the sunset comes into the windows and hits this stone, I just feel so magical. And also there's a stone that I don't have that I have to find one and get one. It's called Numite. And it is literally also called the Sorcerer's Stone. It is amazing. It's dark with rutilations and rainbows. And anyway, I haven't worked with it yet, so it's an odd spelling, Nuummite, Numite stone. It's a Sorcerer's Stone. And then lapis lazuli is great for spiritual vision. So where's my lapis? Here's a lapis. Very pretty. Spiritual vision. So that's the creative stuff. Now, the computer use stones, let me tell you, you want fluorite. My fluorite broke in half. I gave the other half to my husband. This is a fluorite stone. And it's got pyrite. It's embedded in pyrite. So this is fluorite. Oop. I'll show you the other side. Very pretty fluorite. Has a diamond in the middle. Now, there's many types of fluorite. There's purpley, there's green, there's blue. Here's a polished fluorite stone. And I keep these by my computer because they absorb the EMF waves. Now, this one has the actual matrix that you might see in a computer. So let me see if I can... Oh, you see that? You see the way that's laid out and the way it grows and forms? It has levels to it, just like a microchip. And so this is also a form of fluorite, and I keep it by my computer. So, that was fun. I'm dizzy now working with all these things. Does anybody have any questions about... Oh, I got to show you. This is such a fun thing. I designed a business card a long time ago, and it was for my business called Harmony Through Balance, and it was a sphere. I just had a sphere, and I had a line going through it. And that was it. And then a few years after that, I took my solar return trip to France. And on the way back, we stopped in Belgium for a few hours. We could get off the plane and go into the airport. And there was a crystal store in the airport. And I found a crystal ball with included with tourmaline. And there was basically my business card design was right there. There was the line in it into the sphere, in a sphere. And I thought, I have to get this. So this is a kind of a clouded, milky crystal, but it's included with tourmaline. So it's a protective stone. It was magical for me to find that. And you'll have that experience too when you start searching where you want to go, what you want to do with your crystals, how you want to imbue your life with magic. And now that we are in a Neptune-Mars phase, we're acting on magical things. So I'm so happy that Leah asked about crystals because, again, this one, the Pitalite, has lithium in it. Druzy, it's a beautiful, soft, they come in different colors, beautiful, soft stone. And this one as well. This is Larimar from the Caribbean, which is very blue. It's pale blue, sky blue all over. And the amethyst stones for vision, citrine for energizing, quartz for clarity and transformation. And there's so many more stones and so many more things you can be doing with crystals, but just start with your basics. The clearing, healing stones that I talked about, the heart harmonizing stones, the higher communication stones, the energizing stones, the protective and grounding stones. And remember, do not sleep with protective or grounding stones. The sleep and dream stones, the spirituality, which can help make that connection that you're looking for. And then remember, with computer use, fluorite or tourmaline also helps with that to keep the EMF waves at a distance. And remember, when you clean your stones, when you first buy them, you want to bond with them. So you have to clean them first. And that means put them in the sun, unless it's an amethyst, no more than an hour, because it'll start to fade the color. You put them in the sun, the full moon, the new moon, the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and leave them there for a day or two. And you will fully charge them, but not in water. All right? So I hope this has been helpful for everyone. And let me just ask. Oh, Lori says, I appreciate you and all the wisdom you share in your videos. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this, whether it's now live or in a replay, is this something that you would be interested in a class in crystal healing? Is this something that you would want to know about? Let me know in the comment section. I'm going to take a little drink because I am so dizzy right now, but happily so, because all my friends have come out to play with me and they're so excited because, here's a quartz point that I didn't showcase, and it's cloudy. And remember, when you start working with your stones, they will change shape on the inside. It may take years, but they will change. They are my friends. My friends have all come out to play and they're so happy. They're all on my desk. Now I have no room to do anything. All right, folks. So you're welcome, Megan says. You have a question, as I do not sleep with my smoky quartz or hematite. I do have them on a selenite charging plate beside my bed on an ancestor altar I made for my mom and my father. Is that too close? I don't know. Is it? You'll have to experiment with that. If they're near your bed, but you're not actually holding them, they may be grounding you enough. But I would say move them across the room if you can, or move them to a different room altogether and see, and then plant an amethyst next to your bed, or hold an amethyst and see if your dreams don't expand. See if you don't have clearer, more lucid dreams. Let's experiment with that and see, and let me know what happens. Thank you for being here, folks. Jen says, yes, crystals are fascinating. Yes. Oh, so there you go, Megan. If you're trying to remember your dreams, you want an amethyst. Preferably one with a rainbow in it. See if you can find one. And again, you can go to, I discovered this online for you folks, rockandmineralshows.com, and it shows you all around the country where there are, in the U.S., where there are mineral shows. The big one's coming up in Tucson in February 14th, that I like to go to when I'm in town. Okay, so we are still looking at the Neptune-Mars conjunction to power up. We've powered up with crystals here today, and let me show you my big one. I need 2 hands for this. This one I haven't started working with yet, I haven't bonded with yet, but this is my big crystal that I fell in love with. And let's see if you can see. There is an inclusion in the crystal. And my job is I want to clear this crystal up. Wait a minute. Where is it? Oh, there she is. I have citrine in my crystal. I don't know if you can see that citrine. Ooh, isn't that fun? Oopsie. I can't wait to work with my new buddy, and do my own version of, the 7 Avenger stones. Because this one is so heavy. It's 5 pounds minimum. And when I work with crystals, I usually clear them first. So I bought this at a crystal show in the neighborhood from a local gal who she and her husband actually sell crystals and make jewelry and such. But I like to have it in the room just so that it acclimates to the space, and then I clear it. And we have, I can't wait to put it outside in the eclipse coming up in January, which we'll start to feel in December. But then at the same time, then I'm going to bond with it and get the information from it. All crystals will have information. Oh, here's one I didn't show you. And this is my wand. I have a healing crystal wand that I use on people. And actually, it can direct energy from one end and help shoot it out the other end. And that's been every client's experience who's worked with me on that. Okay, so wow, everything was so amazing here today. I feel like I am riding a high. I should probably eat something now and ground myself and get out every hematite I have, because all these crystals were like, yay, we played today. Now I feel like I had something to drink, like a little hot toddy or something. So I will be back. Wait a minute. I have to move my... I don't have my calendar in front. I will have to make that announcement. We had trouble. We had tech troubles the other day, and I'm going to post the interview that was done with Cheyenne and Marketing Secrets. And I talked about my beginnings, etc. So I'm probably going to be back, I would say, Tuesday. And we'll see what we can talk about then and how we can keep moving energy so that you can get your mojo back. But I'll make an announcement in Facebook. Thanks so much. Or if you're on my mailing list, if you're not on my mailing list, you can actually get your free birth chart and go to astrologymojo.com. And once you get your free chart, you'll be put on my mailing list, and you'll find out all the things I'm going to be doing and talking about in Facebook in the upcoming weeks. All right. So thank you for being here. Thanks for stay sparkly. And remember, folks, that you have the power to transform everything in your life. And everything in your life is there because of you. So if you don't like what you see, we can change it. Let's get your mojo back. Astrologymojo.com. All right, thanks. I'll speak with you soon. Be well.